Okay, I am going to be making my sourdough recipe I use. So I'm gonna show y'all how I make it, so you can make it if you want to. I've tried a couple different recipes and this is just the one that works best for me and that I enjoy the most. So yeah, you want to use your starter when it's at its peak rise, so when it's all nice and bubbly and risen the highest. So that's where mine is right now. And you're gonna put in 50 grams of your starter. Okay, and then after you have your 50 grams of your starter, you're gonna pour in 350 grams of room temperature filtered water. I just use water from my Berkey. Okay, I added a little bit too much water, so I just took some out. You have your starter in there, your 350 grams of room temperature filtered water. You're gonna add your organic bread flour. I like the King Arthur brand because it has a high protein content, which is good for sourdough bread. So I'm gonna add 500 grams of that. I just whisked this together. And then you're gonna pour the 500 grams in, and it's easiest to mix it and combine it with your hands. You can use the whisk, but it's just easiest with your hands. You're just gonna wanna mix that up until it's all combined. You just wanna mix it until it's a shaggy dough, sort of like this. And then you're gonna put a towel over it and let it rest for 30 minutes. And this is called the Autolysis, I think it's called. And it's where the dough starts to get like really gut friendly and all that yummy goodness that makes sourdough bread healthy for you. So you're gonna let that rest for 30 minutes, and in the meantime, feed your starter or add it to your discard. Okay, I figured I'd also just show how I feed my starter while I'm at it. So I just take whatever's left over or whatever I'm working with, and I do 50 grams into my clean mason jar. Okay, and then same idea with the room temperature filtered water. I'll do 50 grams of the water and then 50 grams of flour. Mix it all up, making sure to scrape the sides as you work it. Really pretty thick. Doesn't even just like fall off the spoon easily. I just find that my bread works best with it to be extra thick. Okay, now that the 30 minutes is up, we got the dough right here, and you're gonna measure out 10 grams of salt, preferably sea salt or Celtic salt, sea salt, but all I have is this right now, so. What? Did I fart? No, ma'am, I did not.
I did fart.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then you're just gonna sprinkle it over your dough. And you're gonna begin to pinch it in. And you'll notice that it starts to feel more like a putty and less like a shaggy dough. All right, once you have pinched it all in evenly, then you're gonna do your first series of stretch and folds. So you're gonna pull it up, stretch it, sort of scrape the sides at the bottom. You're gonna do that all the way around until it forms a sort of ball. Let this rest for another 30 minutes, put your tea towel over it, and wait. Your dough should look something like this. I did 2. So then you're gonna wash your hands and do another series of stretch and folds. You want your hands to be a little damp because it can be quite sticky, and so that helps. All right, so you're gonna pull it up with your damp hand and fold it stretch, and fold. Stretch, and fold. And do this all the way around until all of the edges have been stretched and folded. All right, now that it's into a sort of a ball, I'm gonna put some saran wrap around it, and then you're gonna let it sit for 8 to 12 hours. It is 9 p.m. right now, and I will get back to it whenever I wake up, and we'll go from there. All right, it is the next morning. I think I may have overproofed it because it is 11. It's a rough night. Kids have been sick and we had to take our car to get new tires this morning, so I wasn't able to do it earlier and like 8 when I would have, but this is what it's looking like, and should be nice and webby if you move the sides like that. You want it to be nice and webby like that. So now you're gonna dump it onto your surface. What? See how webby that is? That is what you want. All right, once you've got it out of your bowl, you are just going to kind of spread it out, kind of get some elasticity in there. This is just how I like to do it. Everyone kind of has a different method, but this is just what I do. I like to pull and flap it. You can see there's a little bit of like salt that didn't get super blended in, but it's okay. All right. So once you get it kind of stretched out, then you're gonna start taking corners, stretch, and put it in the middle, stretch. And what you're doing here is like building tension and stuff. So, and then you're gonna turn that over and kind of push it along and tuck it under. And this is really where it starts to build the tension. Sorry, this is hard to do with one hand. So you're like pushing it along and tucking it under. Push and tuck. And you can just see how it starts to get tight and you got hiccups. So you'll just keep doing that until it feels pretty tight, and then you're gonna allow for just a bench rest for 30 minutes. And put a little tea towel over it. All right, now that it's been the 30 minutes, you're gonna do the final shaping, making sure it's nice and firm and dense. And then you're gonna put it into your bread proofing baskets and cover it with plastic or something to make sure it holds the moisture in, and refrigerate that for an hour or 2. All right, these are my baskets that I have, and you're just gonna dust them with some flour. Kind of rub that around. And after you shape these, you're gonna plop them right in there. This side facing down. Okay, so I just made sure that was real nice and dense. Then you're gonna plop it that side down. And on the bottom, you're gonna wanna pinch it to make a sort of seam. All right, so now that I doubled my recipe, by the way, that's why there's 2. So you pinched the seam as tight as you can make it. And then I've just got some bags, and I like to put mine in a plastic bag that I just reused for my sourdough, and then pop it in the fridge for, I like to do a longer refrigeration proof, so I'll do probably 2 hours or so, but honestly, it depends on your climate and everything too, on how long to do it for. So you'll just have to mess with it and see. All right, here it is in the bag to the fridge. I'm not any like sort of good baker or sourdough connoisseur. This is just the way that I like to do it, the way that it works best for me. So do it however you please or follow a different recipe, but this is just how I do it and how it works out and tastes great every time. So give it a try and see if you like it. Okay, it's getting close to the fridge proof being done, so I am gonna preheat my oven to 450. And once that gets preheated, I'm gonna take out both of my Dutch ovens for the breads, and you need to preheat those for 30 minutes as well. So once the oven is preheated to 450, put your Dutch ovens with the lid on into the oven for 30 minutes, and then we'll get the bread going. All right, so it's been 2 hours. So I got the loaves there. They've risen a bit. Now I've got 2 sheets of parchment paper. I'm gonna spread that around, one for each loaf. Plop it right out of a bantam basket. And I'm gonna spread this around the flour. You can sprinkle some more flour on there if you want. The more flour, the stronger your scoring lines will be. But then you're just gonna take your score razor or whatever it is that you are going to be using and just do whatever kind of design you want to do. You just want to make sure you get it deep enough so that it can breathe while it is in the oven. So I usually do just something like this, and then I'll just add some like little things just for fun. Okay, so now that this is scored, you're gonna take this whole thing and plop it into your Dutch oven. All right, I've got both loaves in. Now you're going to put them in the oven for 30 minutes with the lids on, and then take the lids off and do another 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes with the lid off, this is what you're left with. So yummy. So this is how it turns out. So good.